Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Be sure to subscribe to our channel. We publish new videos every day. Don't forget, grab your smartphone and download the Lava Matra app and stay in touch. Guru Mahārāja's message is your advantage. The following is a Sri Kṛṣna Caitanya book compilation given by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Mahārāja on August 20th, 2021 in Sri Mayapur, India.
Pangung Langayate Girim Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Shri Caitanya Mishwaram.
Today
the chapter is entitled Love of Kṛṣna Floods Everyone Except the Māyāvādīs of Kāśī. Under the section The Lord Travels to Vrindavan. Caitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela 7.4.
পঞ্চতত্ত্ব অবতীর্ণ চৈতন্যের সঙ্গে পঞ্চতত্ত্ব লইয়া করেন সংকীর্তন রঙ্গে.
These five tattvas incarnate with Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, and thus the Lord executes his Sankirtan movement with great pleasure. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.32, there is a following statement regarding Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam Sango Pangasta Parshadam Yagnai Sankirtana Praye Yajantihi Sumedasaha. In the age of Kali, people who are endowed with sufficient intelligence will worship the Lord, who is accompanied by his associates by the performance of Sankirtana Yajna. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu is always accompanied by his plenary expansion Sri Nityananda Prabhu, his incarnation Sri Advaita Prabhu, his internal potency Sri Gadadhar Prabhu, and his marginal potency Srivas Prabhu. He is in the midst of them as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One should know that Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu is always accompanied by these other tattvas. Therefore, our obeisances to Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu are complete when we say
Shri Kṛṣna Caitanya
Shri Caitanya
Prabhu Nityananda
Prabhu Nityananda
Shri Advaita Gadadhara
Shivadvaita Gadadhara
Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda.
Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Haribo. As preachers of the Krishna consciousness movement, we first offer our obeisances to Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu by chanting this Panchatattva mantra. Then we say
Hare Kṛṣna, Hare Kṛṣna,
Hare Kṛṣna, Hare Kṛṣna,
Kṛṣna Kṛṣna, Hare Hare,
Kṛṣna Kṛṣna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Rama Rama, Hare Hare. There are 10 offenses in the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. But these are not considered in chanting of the Panchatattva mantra, namely
Shri Kṛṣna Caitanya,
Shri Krishna Caitanya,
Prabhu Nityananda,
Prabhu Nityananda,
Shri Advaita Gadadhara,
Shri Advaita Gadadhara,
Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda.
Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu is known as Mahavadanyaya Avatara, the most magnanimous incarnation, for he does not consider the offenses of the fallen souls. Thus, to derive the full benefit of the chanting of the Mahamantra,
Hare Kṛṣna, Hare Kṛṣna,
Hare Kṛṣna, Hare Kṛṣna,
Kṛṣna Kṛṣna, Hare Hare,
Kṛṣna Kṛṣna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We must first take shelter. We must first take shelter of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, learn the Panchatattva Mahamantra, and chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That will be very effective. Taking advantage of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, many unscrupulous devotees manufacture a Mahamantra of their version. Sometimes they sing Bhaja Nitai Gaur Radhe Shyam Hare Krishna Hare Nam, or Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Hare Krishna Hare Rama Shri Radhe Govinda. Actually, however, one should chant the names of the full Panchatattva.
Sri Kṛṣna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar, Sri Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
And then the 16 words.
Hare Kṛṣna, Hare Kṛṣna, Kṛṣna Kṛṣna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Oh. But these unscrupulous, less intelligent men confuse the entire process. Of course, since they are also devotees, they can express their feelings in that way. But the method prescribed by Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu's pure devotees is to first chant the full Panchatattva Mahamantra and then chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
Hare Kṛṣna, Hare Kṛṣna, Kṛṣna Kṛṣna,
Hare Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, I met one person. He said he was chanting Hare Krishna for, I forget how many, 10 or 20 years.
So, I met one person, he was saying that he was chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra for probably 20 years.
And, but he didn't feel any bliss.
But he didn't feel any bliss.
I asked him if he was,
So, but I asked him if he was chanting the Panchatattva mantra,
if he followed Lord Chaitanya.
if he follow Lord Chaitanya.
But he said no.
He said
It was
no.
another sampradaya.
But he said no, he was from another sampradaya.
I gave him the Panchatattva mantra.
So I gave him the Panchatattva mantra.
Sri Kṛṣna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar, Sri Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
So I began chanting that.
So he began chanting that.
I came back to the same place 3 or 6 months later.
So I came back to the same place 3 or 6 months later.
When he saw me,
Then when he saw me,
he immediately paid his obeisances.
he immediately paid his obeisances.
And he said, "What mantra you gave me? I feel so much ecstasy now."
What mantra you gave me? I feel so much ecstasy now.
So we practically have seen that chanting the Panchatattva mantra is very effective.
So we practically have seen that chanting the Panchatattva mantra is very effective.
We know why that Lord Chaitanya is so merciful. He doesn't accept any offenses.
And we know why that Lord Chaitanya is very merciful and he doesn't accept any offenses. Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela 7.5.
पंचतत्व एक वस्तु नहीं किछु भेद रस आस्वादित तत्व विविधो विभेद.
Spiritually, there are no differences between these 5 tattvas. For on the transcendental platform, everything is absolute. Yet, there are also varieties in the spiritual world. In order to taste the spiritual varieties, one should distinguish between them. In his purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, In his Anubhashya commentary, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur describes Panchatattva as follows. The supreme energetic, the personality of Godhead, manifesting in order to enjoy 5 kinds of pastimes, appears as the members of the Panchatattva. Actually, there is no difference between them because they are situated on the absolute platform, but they manifest different spiritual varieties as a challenge to the impersonalists to taste different kinds of spiritual humors. Bracket Rasa. In the Vedas it is said, Parasha Shaktir Vividhaiva Shruyate. The varieties of energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are differently known. From this statement of the Vedas, one can understand that there are eternal varieties of humors or tastes in the spiritual world. Shri Gauranga, Shri Nityananda, Shri Advaita, Shri Gadadhar and Srivas Thakur are all on the same platform. But in spiritually distinguishing between them, one should understand that Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu is the form of a devotee. Nityananda Prabhu appears in the form of a devotee spiritual master. Advaita Prabhu is the form of a bhakta, devotee incarnation. Gadadhar Prabhu is the energy of a bhakta and Srivas Thakur is a pure devotee. Thus, there are spiritual distinctions between them. The Bhakta Rupa, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, the Bhakta Swarupa, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, and Bhaktavatar, Sri Advaita Prabhu, are described as the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself. His immediate manifestation and His plenary expansion, and they all belong to the Vishnu category. Although the spiritual and marginal energies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are not different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, they are predominated subjects, whereas Lord Vishnu is the predominated. As such, although they are on the same platform, they have appeared differently in order to facilitate tasting of transcendental mellows. Actually, however, there is no possibility of one being different from the other, for the worshipper and the worshipable cannot be separated at any stage. On the absolute platform, one cannot be understood without the other.
There's no significance to the Supreme Lord without being individual entities.
So there is no significance for the Supreme Lord without being the individual entities
that He predominates over. So, the devotees of the Lord, they are very happy to be with the Lord.
So the devotees of the Lord, they are very happy to be with the Lord.
And that is a special rasa.
And that is a special rasa.
A special mellow.
A special mellow
that they taste. So in order to enjoy these distinct mellows, the Lord appears as the Panchatattva.
The Lord appears as the Panchatattva. CC Adi 7.6.
আদি 14 নম্বর শ্লোকের শেষ শ্লোক ব্যাখ্যা শ্রী স্বরূপ গোস্বামী কর্চা পঞ্চতত্ত্বমাকং কৃষ্ণং ভক্তরূপ স্বরূপকম ভক্ত অবতারং ভক্তাখ্যান নমামি ভক্তি শক্তিকম.
Let me offer my obeisances unto Lord Sri Kṛṣna, who has manifested himself in 5 as a devotee, expansion of a devotee, incarnation of a devotee, pure devotee, and the devotional energy. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Sri Nityananda Prabhu is the immediate expansion of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu as his brother. He is the personified spiritual bliss of Satchidananda Vigraha. His body is transcendental and full of ecstasy in devotional service. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu is therefore called Bhakta Rupa, the form of a devotee, and Nityananda Prabhu is called Bhakta Swarupa, the expansion of a devotee. Sri Advaita Prabhu, the incarnation of a devotee, is Vishnu Tattva and belongs to the same category. There are also different types of bhaktas or devotees on the platforms of neutrality, servitude, friendship, parenthood, and conjugal love. Devotees like Sri Damodar, Sri Gadadhar, and Sri Ramananda are different energies. This confirms the Vedic sutra Parasha Shaktir Vividhaiva Shruyate. All these bhakta subjects taken together constitute Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Kṛṣna himself.
Kṛṣna manifests the spiritual and material universes.
So Kṛṣna manifests the spiritual and the material universes.
But the personalists, the Māyāvādīs, don't know about the spiritual universe.
But the impersonalists, the Māyāvādīs, they don't know about the spiritual universe.
And in the spiritual universe, people exchange spiritual love.
In the spiritual universe, people experience spiritual love. Exchange
Spiritual love.
People exchange spiritual love.
This way, the basis of their relationship is love.
In the spiritual world, people exchange love. In this way, the basis of relationship is love. CC Adi 7.7
জীব ও প্রধান সকলেই কৃষ্ণ সেবক স্বয়ং ভগবান কৃষ্ণ একলে ঈশ্বর অদ্বিতীয় নন্দ আত্মজ রসিক শেখর
Kṛṣna, the reservoir of all pleasure, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself, the Supreme Controller. No one is greater than or equal to Sri Kṛṣna, yet He appears as the son of Mahārāja Nanda. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. In this verse, Kaviraj Goswami gives an accurate description of Lord Kṛṣna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by stating that although no one is equal to or greater than Him, and He is the reservoir of all spiritual pleasure, He nevertheless appears as the son of Mahārāja Nanda and Jashoda Mayi.
So Kṛṣna appears in his relationship to the devotees.
So Kṛṣna appears in his relationships with different devotees.
As his relationship with Radharani
As his relationship with Radharani
is supreme,
is supreme,
and Radharani is revered and worshipped as Vrindavaneshwari.
Radharani is revered and worshipped as Vrindavaneshwari,
But she has complete devotion for Kṛṣna.
but she has complete devotion for Kṛṣna.
But Kṛṣna is the one without the second.
For Kṛṣna is the one without a second.
But he accepts certain devotees on an equal or higher basis than him. So
But he accepts certain devotees in equal or higher places than himself,
in order to exchange loving sentiments
in order to exchange loving sentiments
and pastime.
and pastimes. Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela 7.8
রাসাদি বিলাসী বুর্জ লালনা নগর আর যত সব দেখো তার পরিকর
Lord Sri Kṛṣna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the supreme enjoyer in the Rasa dance. He is the leader of the damsels of Braja, and all others are simply his associates. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The word Rasadi Vilasi, the enjoyer of the Rasa dance, is very important. The Rasa dance can be enjoyed only by Sri Kṛṣna, because he is the supreme leader and chief of the damsels of Vrindavan. All others are his devotees and associates. Although no one can compare with Sri Kṛṣna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there are many unscrupulous rascals who imitate the rasa dance of Sri Kṛṣna. They are Māyāvādīs and people should be wary of them. The rasa dance can be performed only by Sri Kṛṣna and no one else.
Some of the Māyāvādīs of Vrindavan
Some of the Māyāvādīs in Vrindavan
appreciate the glory of Radharani,
appreciate the glories of Radharani,
but don't appreciate
but don't appreciate
Krishna.
Krishna.
It's very offensive.
This is very offensive.
The reason Radharani is so special is because of her unalloyed devotion to Lord Krishna.
The reason Radharani is so special because of her unalloyed devotion for Lord Krishna.
And Krishna, as his supreme enjoyer, and Radharani is pleasure potency.
Krishna is the supreme enjoyer and Radharani is his pleasure potency.
They cannot separate the two.
They cannot separate the two. CC Adi 7.9.
সেই কৃষ্ণই গৌর, সেই কৃষ্ণ অবতীর্ণ, শ্রীকৃষ্ণ চৈতন্য, সেই পরিকরগণ সঙ্গে সব ধন্য।
The self-same Lord Krishna advented himself as Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu with all his eternal associates, who are also equally glorious.
Lord Caitanya comes sometimes after the appearance of Krishna.
Lord Caitanya comes sometimes after the appearance of Krishna.
I mean that at best come once in the day of Brahma,
That means first he comes once in a day of Brahma,
which is 1,000 Chaturjuga.
which is 1,000 Chaturjugas.
So when he comes, he allowed the pure love of Krishna
And
really
so he comes and he brought the pure love of Krishna
to distribute the pure love of Krishna freely.
and he comes to distribute the pure love of Krishna freely.
So we should take his mercy. This is a rare opportunity.
So we should take his mercy. This is a rare opportunity. CC Adi 7.10.
শ্রীকৃষ্ণ চৈতন্যই সর্বেশ্বর হইয়াও বর্ষ ভাবময়, একলে ঈশ্বর তত্ত্ব চৈতন্য ঈশ্বর, ভক্ত ভাবময় তার শুদ্ধ কালে।
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the supreme controller, the one personality of Godhead, has ecstatically become a devotee, yet his body is transcendental and not materially tinged. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. There are different tattvas or truths including Isha Tattva, Jiva Tattva and Shakti Tattva. Isha Tattva refers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu, who is the Supreme Living Force. In the Kata Upanishad, it is said, Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the Supreme Eternal and the Supreme Living Force. The living entities are also eternal and are also living forces. But they are very minute in quantity, whereas the Supreme Lord is the Supreme Living Force and the Supreme Eternal. The Supreme Eternal never accepts a body of a temporary material nature, whereas the living entities who are part and parcel of the Supreme Eternal are prone to do so. Thus, according to the Vedic mantras, the Supreme Lord is the Supreme Master of innumerable living entities. The Māyāvādī philosophers, however, try to equate the minute living entities with the Supreme Living Entity. Because they recognize no distinctions between them, their philosophy is called Advaitavada or monism. Factually, there is a distinction. This verse is especially meant to impart the Mayavadi philosopher the understanding that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the Supreme Controller. The Supreme Controller, the Personality of Godhead, is Kṛṣna himself. But as a transcendental pastime, he has accepted the form of a devotee, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, when the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Kṛṣna, comes to this planet, exactly like a human being, some rascals consider him to be one of the ordinary humans. One who thinks in that mistaken way is described as Mudha, or foolish. Therefore, one should not foolishly consider Caitanya Mahaprabhu to be an ordinary human being. He has accepted the ecstasy of a devotee, but he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Since the time of Caitanya Mahaprabhu, there have been many imitation incarnations of Kṛṣna who cannot understand that Caitanya Mahaprabhu is Kṛṣna himself and not an ordinary human being. Less intelligent men create their own gods by advertising human being as God. This is their mistake. Therefore, here the words Tar Shuddha Kalebar warn that Caitanya Mahaprabhu's body is not material but purely spiritual. One should not therefore accept Caitanya Mahaprabhu as an ordinary devotee, although he has assumed the form of a devotee. Yet one must certainly know that although Caitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because he has accepted the ecstasy of a devotee, and one should not misunderstand his pastime and place him in exactly the same position as Kṛṣna. It is for this reason only that when Sri Kṛṣna Caitanya Mahaprabhu was addressed as Kṛṣna or Vishnu, he blocked his ears, not wanting to hear himself addressed as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is a class of devotees called Gauranga Nagari who stage plays Kṛṣna's pastime using a vigraha or form of Caitanya Mahaprabhu. This is a mistake that is technically called rasa vasa. While Caitanya Mahaprabhu is trying to enjoy as a devotee, one should not disturb him by addressing him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
So, Lord Caitanya is Kṛṣna himself.
So Lord Caitanya is Kṛṣna himself.
But he was enjoying the ecstasy of being a devotee.
But he was enjoying the ecstasy of being a devotee.
So, in this ecstasy, he wanted to make everyone else a devotee.
In this ecstasy, he wanted to make everyone else as a devotee.
And that is Lord Caitanya's special pastime.
That is Lord Caitanya's special pastime.
So, although Lord Caitanya visited Benares,
Although Lord Caitanya visited Benares,
but the philosophy of Lord Caitanya was given in the Adi Lila of the Caitanya Charitamrita.
but the philosophy of Lord Caitanya is given in the Adi Leela of Caitanya Charitamrita.
Because it is very important, and the author, he didn't know how long he would live.
Because it is very important, and the author, he didn't know how long he would live.
I put it first.
So he put it first.
But actually, our Lord Caitanya was giving out his love for Kṛṣna,
How Lord Caitanya was giving out his love for Kṛṣna, the love for Kṛṣna,
but then he went first to Vrindavan,
but then he went first to Vrindavan,
and on the way back, he delivered the Māyāvādīs.
and on the way back he delivered the Māyāvādīs.
We'll continue reading tomorrow.
We will continue reading tomorrow. Thus ends the chapter entitled Love of Kṛṣna floods everyone except the Māyāvādīs of Kāśī, Part 1. Under the section, the Lord travels to Vrindavan.
So we hope that everybody
We hope that everybody
takes this mercy of Lord Caitanya
takes this mercy of Lord Caitanya
and taste the unlimited ecstasy of being a pure devotee of Kṛṣna.
And taste the unlimited ecstasy of being a pure devotee of Kṛṣna.
This is a special love of Vrindavan
This is a special love of Vrindavan
that Lord Caitanya gave to everyone.
that Lord Caitanya gave to everyone.
Do you like our ad-free videos? Be sure to subscribe to our channel. We publish new videos every day, and don't forget to like and share our channel.